Well, it's about 2:30 a.m. But so it's a brand
Oh,
new.
is it?
It's a brand new one, but it's going great, man. I don't ever like to complain. As always,
Okay.
your day is pretty much how you make it. How's yours going?
Good, great so far. You're not in the States much?
Nah, very, very, very rarely.
Okay. Well, good. I appreciate you taking the time. I didn't realize you were back in India, I guess. So
Yeah, I live here full time with this beautiful girl, my wife, and my business partner.
yeah.
So
Okay, she stays up late too, huh?
yeah, she kind of has to.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you spending a little time with me. You did intrigue me, I have to admit. As you might know or not know, I'm not much of the tech guy. My background's pretty much investment banking. I have a couple other business things I'm involved in. So what struck me about actually, you're pretty aggressive. So I get that you're a smart guy, and it's pretty interesting the way you set up the model. So you kind of hooked me on that more than anything else. So I've been trying to figure out how this actually would work for me. Looking at some of the software, I don't really, honestly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time dealing with that just because I don't have the time. So I just not that interested in software in that sense. I did like the SaaS idea. I did like the way that you set up your tiers. And I'm not trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this because I don't see myself really being a techie guy. I'm not. More of a business and do a lot of the sales aspects, but not so much the technical side. So giving you that information, I'm just going to get some feedback from you to see what makes sense
Sure,
moving forward.
I'd like to get a little clarification on what you meant by whenever you said that I'm aggressive. What do you mean by that?
Well, I read a lot of your emails, and I like the way that you come off in the sense that you're confident. You're a lot of entrepreneurs and self-made people, pretty aggressive in the sense that you go after what you want and don't let anything stop you, and maybe bowl over a few people along the way, but that's okay too. That stuff happens. I was reading your email today about the person that was close to you quitting. I get how that works. That's just life. Unfortunately, you're going to lose people and get people. There's not much you can do about that. Some people aren't going to exactly gravitate towards the way you operate your business either. So, that'll probably change over time because you can't do everything.
For sure, you for sure can't make everybody happy.
Nope.
What's your audience like? You have a list of you have an email list of people, or do you have like friends on Facebook or connections on LinkedIn?
I mean, I have that sort of thing in business contacts and things like that. But when I look at the software, I can't see a lot of people like me, business people, spending a lot of time dealing with it. If they have people that want to deal with it, fine, they probably will. I think it looks like your model, once I got into it, is really designed for people who are going to get in there, learn the stuff, help teach, help promote. And that's probably not where I'm at.
Not really. All right. So the model itself is designed as an investment model, which I'm sure in your background with investment banking, you're very familiar with. So the model itself is actually designed as an investment background, but due to the fact that we didn't really want the traditional type of investment or the traditional type of investors, we tried to structure the model where the average investor that we were going to get was going to be some type of marketing person. All right.
Okay.
So the reason that we didn't want the traditional investment is because the reason that we didn't want the traditional investment is because traditional investors, they just throw money at you and that's it. They're hands off. They throw money at you. Some of them, if you're lucky, some of them will will either knock on doors for you and then say,
Right.
hey, it's me, I'm with my friend, will you open the door? Or they'll go and get the door open and then invite you in. But in the traditional investment world, they just kind of throw money at you and expect you to give them that money back. And from that,
many times over.
Sure. From that perspective, I've got enough money in my bank account where I can fund this company for the next 5 years without actually, if I stay at the current growth rate, if I stay at our current rate right now, I could fund our company for about 7 years out of my personal bank account. So from that perspective, it doesn't make sense to bring on investors just to throw cash at me when I can throw cash myself.
And you have a lot more control if you keep it this way.
For sure. So in this model, we don't lose, since it's non-traditional equity, since it's a limited partnership and it's revenue shares that we're giving instead of non-traditional equity, we don't lose any controlling interest. So we don't have investors telling us what we have to do. And then they're also not just throwing money at us saying, hey, you have to do this, now make us money, bring us our money back. What we were going after were more of partners that are going to help us in terms of growth and over our marketing strategy, because that's what we don't do as a company. We don't do marketing. We just only do software engineers. This is about as much marketing as I do. I put on a hat and I tell people about my software, and that's about it. So we try to structure.
Well, you've gotten people like me, so I guess a lot of your top tier people have come from you.
for sure. Right? So we try to structure the model where it will work for a traditional investor who just wants to throw in some money and get some return back over time. It will work for them, but it will also, since our ideal target was more of a marketing type person, that's who we really crafted the offer for, where you can invest your money and then you have, outside of the revenue shares, which is a long-term investment play, you have a very short-term path to make your investment back and make an ROI on your investment in a very short-term path without the revenue shares, by promoting the software, selling the software, keeping the revenue that you make from those endeavors. And then the more long-term play is wait until overall we're profitable as a company from our software products and get your money back. So over the last 3 years, we've been a hyper profitable. I mean, I can't say we've been a hyper profitable company because we're not talking about billions of dollars, you know.
No, I understand. I get it.
Without a marketing team or without a sales team, we've done almost $3 million in profit in the last 3 years, which for a one-man show, I mean, from a sales and marketing perspective, it's me. There ain't nobody else from a sales and marketing perspective. All right.
Right.
But that's mostly came from selling services and not from selling our software products. So now in this SaaS model, where the revenue is coming just from our software products, we're kind of like now at this infant stage, because we're just now on the first is when all my contracts ended with all my service-based clients, where we're no longer servicing them. So just now on the first, we are not providing services. Up until the first, I still had 60% of my workforce engaged in finishing up the contracts for my service-based clients, and that just ended on the 31st. It's just literally the first of the year was the first day that we were no longer those contractual obligations to service clients anymore. All right. So now you can think that we're kind of like a startup and an infant in this SaaS model. So to think it's going to be about 12 to 18 months before we're actually producing enough amount of revenue for you to see a real positive return on the revenue shares that you get. Now, we do have financial projections. I don't know if you've checked them out or not, but we do have financial projections, and if you want, I can just show them to you real quick. Okay. We do have financial projections for the next 18 months, and as a finance guy, you could probably appreciate this and understand that it's a projection and not like set in stone. And then understand some of these variables here. So our biggest variable is, our biggest bottleneck for any SaaS company is this variable right here. And it's pretty much the same bottleneck for any company. It's the cost to acquire a customer. Right. Cost to acquire a customer is like the determining factor of the revenue that you can get. So these variables here, they are what affect these projections over here that I'll go over. So this is our projected cost to acquire a customer. This is the projected amount of revenue per month that we're going to get from each customer that we acquire. This is the percentage of revenue from all these customers that we're getting that as a partnership, we're agreeing to dump back into advertising to acquire more customers and acquire more revenue. This is a churn rate. So the churn rate is, are you familiar with what a churn rate is?
Yep.
This churn rate is way above industry standard and is a really stupid churn rate. It's 20% on the year. So it's actually this is a 20% monthly churn rate. So it's a pretty high churn rate. All right. So if these variables stay into consideration, what you're looking at here, this is the projected revenue that's coming from the partnership. It's actually a little bit more. This is our projected cost over time. This is the projected overflow, just the difference between revenue and cost. And then this is a running balance of that overflow. All right. This essentially describes advertising money that we're going to spend from this balance right here. And this is advertising money that we're going to spend from new revenue that's coming in. And then this just shows the new projected balance that we have after we spend, right now we have a projected balance of $39,000. If we dump in $5,000 worth of advertising, then we're left with $34,000. So this just describes this. This is essentially working capital left in our bank after we spend partnership money for advertising that doesn't consider new revenue coming in advertising. All right. So these are our new projected customers, how many new customers we project to get. This is new projected revenue, how much new revenue we project to get. This is total. So this is just a summation of these guys. And then this is just total projected revenue, just a summation of these guys. And then this also takes into consideration the churn factor. So this takes into consideration that 20% of these guys are going to drop out by the time we get to this next month. All right. This is a projection for Inner Circle members, what the projected value of one revenue share is going to be equal to if we adjust for ad spend. So if we adjust and say, okay, you're not going to get the full amount of that revenue share because we're going to take 90% of the revenue and dump it back into advertising to get more customers. This is that adjusted rate. This is the true rate that says, okay, let's stop all advertising. How much would those revenue shares be worth? So you can see here in March, at the end of March, we're planning on having all of our softwares actually revamped with a brand new, nice looking design. That's a more sellable design. We're in the process of doing that all right now. It should be all done by the end of March. So at March, we would start to drop in advertising funds to start acquiring customers in these redesigned platforms. And we'll continue to do some advertising until we make revenue, and then that revenue, we can start to use that revenue for ad spend, and it doesn't have to come out of our working capital piggy bank anymore. So you can see what we're projecting our customer growth to be. This projects up until June, which is 19 months. So this is projecting to June. So we're projecting that if everything goes good, by June, we can have this many customers, which is about 160,000. If they're paying $97 a month, it's around $15 million a month worth of revenue coming in. And we've modeled ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels has one software. They currently have like a little bit over 70,000 active users paying at least $100 a month. Some of them pay $297. Some of them pay $1,000. So, and they're doing right at $8 million a month worth of revenue from one software. And they kind of have a similar model where they're heavily relying on affiliate marketing to bring in users. So, so then here, this is showing all this. So this is showing new customers, new revenue. This is showing total customers, total revenue. This is a projection of what one revenue share would be worth. if we adjust to 90% ad spend, and this is a projection of what your inner circle partnership would be worth a month because you have 30 revenue shares. So after 19 months, it's projected at right at $9,000 a month, with considering that we're still taking 90% of all our revenue and dumping that back into customer acquisition. Their true value, however, is about $3,000 per revenue share, which means it's a real value of around $90,000 per month, considering all things that work according to this model, which they may underperform, they may overperform.
Right.
Now, if we were to go in and do something crazy like ClickFunnels says that this is what they publish, that this is their cost to acquire a customer, $450. That's what they say. You can see that this drastically changes. This really drastically changes your variables here. So now our plan and our model on how we work around that is essentially we have a concept of what's called a map, and then we have a concept of what's called a cap. All right, a cap is a customer acquisition product. A map is a money acquisition product. All right, so we've got the partners, and we've got our community full of affiliate marketers. All right, so they essentially go out to the market, they do promotions, they bring users into our cap products. All right, so you as a partner, you have access to 7 cap products that you can do whatever you want with. You can sell them, you can give them away for free. You're going to essentially bring users into our user list, and then once we release this map product, we're going to market only to 2 people. We're going to do email marketing to our current list of users, and then we're going to do retargeting marketing to active users in our cap products. We're only going to market to users that are currently using one of our software through Facebook ads. If we run a Facebook ad, the only people who would ever see that are people who are using a current software of Tier 5, one of these cap softwares, and then we'll do email marketing to all the users registered in our platform. So all our partners and all our community members, they'll keep bringing users into our cap products, growing this list, and then we'll release a money acquisition product, which is what MAP stands for, and that will really drive our customer acquisition costs down a whole lot, because our partners and the affiliate marketers, they're out there really acquiring all our customers for us on those customer acquisition products. We don't want to make those products. We just want to really bring down that cost to acquire a customer as low as possible. So
what happens in July there, where you don't have any projections on the don't know what's on the left there. Is that the advertising costs? The advertising costs?
You're talking about here? What happens here?
No, here in July.
Oh, what happens here? What happens where we don't have advertising costs?
Right.
What's happening there is you're seeing here. All right. We've got a percentage of the ad spend that's coming from new revenue. So at this point in July, we have enough new revenue coming in. This is working capital for us. So we don't want to take all our working capital and dump it into advertising. We want our advertising costs to come from new revenue. So at this point, we don't really have enough new revenue to spend ad money. So we spend the ad money out of our working capital. Once we have enough revenue coming in to take some of that money and dump it back into advertising, then we stop spending working capital to advertise, and we just spend our new revenue that's coming in for advertising.
Gotcha. So how many then Inner Circle members are you expecting to have? I suppose that depends on how many shares you can actually give out.
Well, we have a maximum. We have a maximum of 10,000 shares that we're going to issue, and a hard cap of 150 Inner Circle members. So we won't ever exceed that. The revenue shares won't ever get diluted to anybody. What would end up happening? Worst case scenario, what would end up happening if we needed more working capital? then we would just talk to the current partners and get them to agree to pay a higher fee. But I've thought about this model for a really long time, and all things considered, as long as we don't produce really garbage software and we continue to produce great software, that should never be an issue, because we're getting, so right now we still, as far as the revenue shares are concerned, Tier 5 itself has reserved 25% of the revenue shares for its own growth, and then there's about another 40% that are mine, that are personally mine, from the fact that we kind of have this affiliate model, and most of every time an inner circle partner comes in, the guy that brought that inner circle partner in, he also gets some revenue shares, and the guy above him, he also gets some revenue shares. I've brought in most of the inner circle partners myself. I've brought in most of the partners myself. So that means that the 2 extra tiers of revenue shares have all just went to me. So we have plenty of revenue shares on our side to account for growth. We're doing the legal filing right now. I just talked to the lawyer actually yesterday and finished up a lot of the formalities and clarified some stuff for him. We're doing the limited partnership in the state of California. And where we won't issue more than 10,000 revenue shares. So they're not going to get diluted or anything like that over the.
How many have you issued so far then? Are you close to that, halfway?
No, like I said, so as far as Tier 5 is concerned, Tier 5 has 25% issued to themselves. I have a little bit over like 47%. And then the rest are issued out to partners, and then there'll be maybe another 1,000 shares out of my shares that would end up getting issued to new partners that are coming in, because so what we're doing now, it's like right now, if you want to join the Inner Circle membership, it's $600 a month if you want to join right now, and then we only accept new partners on the last day of every month. Just for like during a 2-hour window. So we do a presentation about the partnership. During that 2 hours, somebody can sign up, they pay the current price. After those 2 hours, it's closed back down to a wait list again until the last Friday of the next month, and the price goes up by $100 every month. So the next time we'll allow partners to sign up will be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time on January 25th. And then they'll be paying $600 to sign up. If they don't sign up in that 2-hour window, then they'll have to wait until the last Friday of February, and then they'll have to pay $700 to sign up, because we just don't need them for the funding anymore. So the only reason that we would actually acquire them and bring in more is for the engagement and the work that they're going to do on their side, bringing in customers for us by promoting the softwares. Or other people may look at it still as just like a straight investment opportunity and just be willing to make that investment. So we'll have some additional revenue. With an extra $600, I hire an extra engineer. I put another extra engineer on full time for an extra $600. So
what happens to the company? Let me ask you this question as a business person. What happens to the company if something happens to you? Sounds like you're the whole company.
No, my wife's here. So my wife is here, and the company will continue to exist. My wife's here, so if something happens to both of us, then I think what we would do is have a provision. It doesn't exist right now legally in the partnership, but we would have a provision where the partnership would continue to go on as everything's already set up, and then the general partner who becomes the general partner of everything would be the person who has the most revenue shares currently in the partnership, some provision like that.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting anything, but you never know.
Sure.
Life is life.
For sure.
Well,
I agree 100% for sure.
So you're making the software, you're revamping the software, you said, and I really haven't is it to be just a little bit more user friendly, or what's the deal? Or just
Oh yeah, we're just totally we're updating all the designs we're updating all the designs to look much better.
Okay.
So like I'll give you an example. Here is the difference between the two. Here's one software, how it currently looks, and here's the new design of the same software. Here's how it currently looks. Here's the current look of the software versus the new redesigned look of the same software. So
nice.
Just vamping up to make it look a lot more high end, to make it look more expensive, to make it look more valuable, to make it look more legitimate. Where we do everything here, since we're not marketers and we're not really, picture painters or designers, we're engineers. We do everything from an engineering first approach. Even when we were selling services to clients, we didn't have any designers on staff, because whenever we sold because it's not what we do. So whenever we sold services to clients, they would bring their design with them. They would provide that design to us. We would do the heavy lifting as far as engineering. We wouldn't do their design. We wouldn't do their marketing, because it's not our cup of tea. All right. So since making this transition, I've brought in a professional UI UX designer, and then now we're revamping all our softwares. But our approach will always be a development first approach and a design second approach, because if you spend a lot of time going over trying to make designs all beautiful and stuff, you'll spend a lot of time developing stuff. If you develop first, get things working to a prototype, you can market validate that software to make sure the market's going to be receptive to it, that they're willing to pay for it, that it works for them. And then once you've done that validation, then you can take the time and money and effort to actually make it all pretty, where people are going to be like, wow, this looks beautiful. So
for people like me,
for sure, we'll continue to have that approach in the future as we build more and more software.
No, that's great. Well, I think you've given me a lot of great information, and I'm going to have to just decide how I'm going to. I mean, obviously, for a long-term investment, it could be a great deal, right?
For sure, and that's what I was going to ask you. What your finances look like, all right? Because there's a couple options. One, we have pre-built sales funnels and everything that if you spend a little bit of time, or I can hook you up with somebody over here. We normally charge $100 an hour to do what we're doing right here. We can go through and set everything up for you, set the funnels, set your payment processor up for you. And then at that point, you can make a couple posts on social media like, hey, I have access to all this. I want to give people a good deal. And then you can do some small promotions of the software just to get yourself where you're breaking even. So it becomes a real no-brainer to you, because you still own equity, you still get access to all the software and all the future software, and it's no longer costing you anything out of your pocket. So there's that one option. Now, if you have
how many hours does it typically take?
An hour. If you've got if you've got a Stripe account set up. So if you've got a Stripe account set up and you use ClickFunnels, then it won't take any time at all, because it's literally you just click a button and we make a couple edits and hook up your payment, and then do the automation to create the accounts and everything. So normally about an hour wouldn't take much more to.
Yeah, well, I can do that. That's no biggie. I don't have a Stripe account, but I can always get one.
It's free.
I don't think I have a ClickFunnels either. I use a lot of different things. PayPal's. I got stuff in a store of mine on Shopify and stuff, but I got other things going on.
Well, you could do it on Shopify as well. We don't have pre-built funnels for you on Shopify. The ClickFunnels is just the easiest barrier to entry, because our sales funnels right now are built on ClickFunnels. So we have those.
That's fine.
We have those ready made for you. You just click a button and then they're already made. If you want to use something else, you can definitely use something else. You can use WordPress. You can use anything else.
I don't want to spend any more time, so I'll use you. I'll use your platform, because I'm going to have to kind of gear into this over time. because of my time commitments I have now that I wasn't planning on doing this. You just are a good salesman.
Well, I appreciate that. I would beg to differ, but I appreciate that. I'm just.
Well, you said enough to intrigue me, and so you got my money, so you really intrigued me. So that's what got me. So I mean, I would just soon set up, get something happening rather than just sit and wait. So I'll work on that tomorrow. The ClickFunnels, the Stripe account, and get you the information. What information do you need from that?
So we would just need access to your ClickFunnels account, and then we would need some temporary access to your Stripe account just so we can set up the products and everything. And then we'd need to know what price points you want to sell at. If you want to use our default price points that we use, we can use those. If you want to modify and change your own price points, and we would just need to know what those price points are so we could set up the plans.
Well, are your price points having the most success?
I can't answer if they're having the most success, but I make sales with them. So they work for me. I've got people that pay $297 a month for RoboContact. I got people who pay $297 a month for text in bulk. I've got people who pay for sticky reviews, for Link Wizard. So they work for me. I can't say if they're the most successful out of anybody, but they work for me. I'm comfortable with them, and they work for me. I looked at other competitors and what they charge, and we either charge the same price and give more features, or we charge a lesser price and give more features.
Okay. All right. I'll look. I might start with your price point, see how it goes, and you can always make all kinds of specials, I suppose. Month free or whatever. Half off, whatever. I don't know. All right, I'll do that then to get myself rocking and rolling.
So your other options are kind of dependent on your other options are kind of dependent on your finances. All right.
Okay.
If you've got finances, you can bring in a virtual assistant, and then have them do what a lot of the other partners are doing, which is out there promoting softwares, getting users in, bringing users in, and then you can just pay the assistant a flat fee for doing that. Or you can bring in an assistant, have them help you with a lot of the setup and the maintenance of stuff, and then you could essentially try to find your own affiliates and your own sales force, so you do a commission on, right? And that's kind of up to you. If I were going to do that, what I would do is I would get everything set up, get to the point where I've broken even, and it's a no cost investment for me because I'm already making back my inner circle payment through the revenue that's coming in from people using the software. Once I'm at that break-even point, then at that point I could afford to pay a commission-only salesperson, 60, 70, 75% commission, and they're doing all the work. I'm not doing anything. I'm just doing nothing other than saying, hey, all I would be doing is looking at the finances and writing them out a check and paying them their commission rate. So
okay. I mean, I like that approach because it's but it's interesting, and obviously it's recurring income, which is always nice. So
for sure. And if you take that approach, the reason I would try to break even first is because obviously if you give somebody 50, 60, 70% commission, it's going to take you 50, 60, 70% more time to break even. Because you gotta pay out that commission versus if you just say, like, what I've seen people have a lot of success with is I did this offer. It was really a dumb offer. I did this offer as a case study because I wanted to actually basically what I wanted to look at and what I wanted to measure is I wanted to look at drop-off rates and see how often I got failed payments on an offer like this versus a $30 a month offer. So I wanted to see, okay, if I charge people $1 every day versus charging them $30 a month, how long do people stick on that daily thing versus how long do people stick on that monthly thing?
Yeah,
So
interesting.
I kind of did it as a case study. I personally have about 700, 800 people still active on one of these plans. So there's 3 different plans. I don't do the $1 a day anymore to some extent. So to some extent, the $1 a day isn't available anymore. It's a monthly option of $37 a month or a yearly option of $297 a year. All right.
Right.
So
and the yearly thing seems to be really popular today.
For sure, because that's the you pay it all right now. And if you look at it, this account is normally $297 a month, and you're paying $297 a year for this same account. And you also get this account that's normally $297 a month. So this is a real no-brainer. If either one of these softwares, they can understand, hey, this would be a good software for me. And then you don't really have to worry about them canceling, because you don't have to worry about, okay, are these guys going to cancel after a month or 2 months, because they're not, because they just paid for a year. So they're not going to cancel after some time. So I've seen a lot of partners have good success with this offer just from their own Facebook profile. Like Shane Mario, he's one of our partners. He ran this in his own Facebook profile, and he got about 150 sales on this. So now that's $1 a day, $150 a day, 30 days a month. He's making about $3,500 a month just from this one promotion. So that covers his cost of the inner circle. Plus he's making, a 10x ROI on his investment right now. And then as time goes by, another 12, 18 months, 24 months, in finance, I'm sure you understand how long an actual investor expects to wait before they see a real return on their investment. Then those revenue shares are going to kick in, where the real money comes down the future. So I've seen a lot of partners have success with this offer, where they just go in. And how I do it, and how I like to tell people to do it, is what you would do is you would try to understand the software a little bit, or ask a couple people in the group for the post that they've put, and you just basically make a post doing a pre-sale. All right, where you make a post and let people know, okay, hey, I partnered with this software company. We build all this software. The software can help you with this, and this, and I want to help some of you guys on my friends list. I want to give you guys a great deal. I only have 10 of these available. It's just $30 a month for what we normally charge over $1,000 a month for. Who's interested in it? And you run that post on Facebook and LinkedIn, and you get people to tell you that they're interested before you get all your setup done on the back end. Once you have people, you get 10, 20, 30 people who are like, hey, I'm interested. I would buy this. Then you go through, we get everything set up on the back end. Then you go share that link to people, and then you either put 10 people in, 20 people in, 30 people in. Then you're done. You're breaking even. And then at that point, you can decide, okay, what do I want to do from here? I've got people who they never stop this $1 a day promotion for some reason. I don't know. Like literally, I just got a real estate agent that paid $5,000 for a lifetime deal for all 7 of these softwares. So why they don't stop the $1 a day promotion and go for, I got people that pay me $297 a month to use text in bulk. So why they don't stop the $1 a day deal, and now that they've broken even and they don't have this, hey, I need to make my money back, why they don't stop and take their time and then focus on the people who are actually going to pay money, that I don't know, but they don't do it.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that either, but they probably don't understand it either. So, but I agree with you. It's that, once you get to that break even, then you can, obviously you're better to make more with less. So
for sure. And I recommend people, I always recommend people to do that if they're, I don't want to say that they're in financial duress, but if their inner circle partnership is something that they feel. All right. Like me, excuse my French, but I've got fuck you money. So me, if I was paying $500 a month, I mean, I literally donate that to poor people every month. So to me, that's not an issue for me. I don't feel that money. I mean, so somebody could fraudulently charge me $500 a month and I wouldn't notice it until my accountant said, "Hey, John, what's this?" And I wouldn't notice it. So, but if you feel it, if it's something where you're like, man, I could really be using that $500 for something else, then or that $300 or whatever your inner circle partnership costs, then I would suggest something like this. You go with something like this, get that money back, so it's no longer on your brain. Okay, hey, I really could use this money for something else, because now it's not costing you anything. It's a break-even thing. Then you can focus on the other. Now, if you're not in the situation that it really bothers you, then you can afford to actually take the time and be like, okay, I'm just going to go get full price, because if I get somebody on to come into text and bulk at $297 or robo-contact at $297, I just got to sell one of those accounts, and now I'm breaking even. And now the rest of the people in my audience, they're not going to expect that same deal that I had last time. So, but like I said, it's completely up to you. You can. I have people that do lifetime deals. You could do a lifetime deal. I showed somebody the other day how to do it. Like I said, I just did one. I just did one, and it was $5K for the lifetime deal. I ran the same lifetime deal for $10, and I did an ascending invoice through Invoicing You. It started at $10. It started at $10, and every person that purchased it went up another $10, and I got 27 people to buy that in one day in the course of like 3 hours, just by going into a public group on Facebook. I just went into a public group on Facebook, posted, did a live video, and then just showed them the software and what the prices are, and told them it starts at $10. First one to buy gets $10. Second one costs $20. You can set that up in Invoicing You, all automatic. And then
that's interesting.
There was like 27 people that bought that. So if you do the math, on that, that's like almost $4,000 that from that one day that came in. That covers your inner circle payment for the whole year, just on
right.
And then you're done again and figure out, hey, what do you want to focus on? Do you want to invest time in this? Do you want to try to find somebody else, bring somebody else in and let them focus on doing the sales and pay them commissions? That's really up to you.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely try to think of which offer to start with and get that other stuff set up. I mean, you're actually pretty good at marketing. You got a pretty good head on your shoulders for that stuff. So that's pretty good. So, all right. Anything else that you think I should know?
We have an inner circle meeting every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. It's a great chance to be able to network with people. I always post a link in the group. All the recordings are in the group as well. It's a great chance to network with other people. As you can imagine, right now you're in a group that's got like 120 people in it. They all have extra money and they all believe in this thing. They're all contributing to the same thing. I don't believe in rules in groups, so you guys are free to network and talk about other business opportunities, and so you can network with those people and maybe find other people to go into other business ventures outside of Tier 5 and with those people. So that's always good. It's a good chance to find out what's working well for people, what isn't working well for people, who's having success with what, how they're not. And then it's your chance to also kind of guide the company and say, you know, what other things would you like to see us do? Where do you think we should go? What do you think we should be focusing on? So any of the feedback that you can, I mean, always, if you can come to those meetings, that's always great, because it gives you a chance to interact with all the other partners that you're in this partnership with, and kind of stay up to date on what's going on our side, what we're doing, what we're focusing on, and let us know if that's something that works for you, or you think we should focus on something else. It gives you the chance to network with all those other people. You can also pitch ideals there, so you can also go in and actually pitch ideals and say, you know, hey, I'm from this background, from, you know, financial investment, and most of my contacts are in this background, and I don't think any of them would be interested in this type of software, but here's the software that they would buy. here's what they would need, here's the types of prices that they would pay, and I'm connected with this, and this person. And if we could build this software and I could bring these guys on board, then we could really hit the market with this. It's a good place for us to listen to that and evaluate, because at the end of the day, that's the whole point of the partnership, is so that we're the workhorses that build everything, and then you guys, the partners, you guys are kind of like the marketing face and the strategist for business that kind of tell us, okay, what do you think we should really be doing? And then if there's good ideals there, we just can switch gears and just go off and build that thing and push it out to the marketplace and make even more money that way. So if you can come to those, definitely come to those. And then,
yeah, well, you got one tomorrow then, right?
Correct. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. You'll always see a link inside the group. I always put a link inside. So if you go in the group tomorrow, there'll be a pinned post that will be the top post that will have a link and everything there.
Okay.
If you check the units in the group, then you'll find inside the units, you'll find all the previous meetings. So you'll find all the previous meetings right here in these units. If you go to these inner circle meetings, you'll find all the meetings that we had. Here's the one that's coming up tomorrow. If you can't attend a meeting and there are specific questions that you would like answered or addressed in that meeting, but you can't attend, you can just put your question in the comments, and after we're done with the meeting, I'll answer those questions. There's no real agenda for the meeting. It's just a networking time for all the partners to get together, talk about what's working, what isn't working, network, get to know each other, answer whatever questions people have. It's just really time for you guys and whatever you need.
And then you share whatever's going on, I assume.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, what about the other two groups? I haven't even looked at the other two groups, so I've only looked at the IC group.
So kind of this other group is just a general group for the partners. Not a whole lot of activity happens in that group, but kind of how things work is high level discussions, and high level discussions happen in the inner circle group. If we come to decisions that affect the partnership as a whole, that trickles down to the partnership group, because there's other partners who aren't at that inner circle level that I just frankly don't listen to. Like somebody who's at a basic level versus an inner circle level, there's two things there. Either they just don't have enough money to pay for the inner circle level, or they didn't really see the value there. Neither one of those types of people do I really want to take their advice when they're trying to tell me how I should run my company and what I should do with my company, because they're probably not qualified in the first place. So all real high level decision making, and if I have some whimsical ideal before I implement it, I would put it in the inner circle group and get feedback from everybody on what they think, since this is a partnership. Once we come to a consensus on stuff, it's not so much of the inner circle group's kind of like a discussion and decision making group. The partnerships group kind of is just like an announcement, like, hey, me and the inner circle members, we thought this would be best, so here's what we're doing. So it's kind of like an announcement. The community group, that's more of a support group. So how that works is, I'll just draw another thing again, is we've got Tier 5, that's us, the development firm. Outside Tier 5, we have the partnership, all right? So you guys kind of do two things. You guys give us money and cover our operating costs, all right? And then you guys also help us validate ideals and help kind of guide where the company's going and help us make decisions. And then outside of this, we have the Tier 5 community, all right? The community also pays us money. Now the community, this is kind of like a support group for the community, but the community is essentially a paid group of beta testers. They pay us money to beta test our software. And then they're our affiliate marketer. They're essentially our commission-based sales and distribution channel. So how it works is you guys as the partners, you guys can say, hey, we should build this software. This type of software is taking over the market. we want to build this software. We'll be successful. You tell us that. Partners agree. Hey, that's what we should be doing. We build the software. We kick the software out to the Tier 5 community. They beta test it. They make sure it's usable. They make sure if we go full-fledged marketing on that software to the market, it's not going to be a flop and the market's going to reject it. They make sure it's usable. There's no bugs in the system, that it's ready to go to the market. And then they essentially become our sales and distribution channel. And then they promote this. They promote the software, acquire users for us. So again, the community members, they pay us a monthly fee. That fee first goes into the partnership, gets redistributed to you guys, and then they go out here to the market. They find us users. Those users pay us a monthly fee. We give some commission to the community members for finding us the users. Then the rest of the money, that goes into the partnership. You guys get your share, and then what's left over, that trickles back into Tier 5.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a support group for, like I said, they are pretty much our paid beta testers and our commission-only sales and distribution channel.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Well, that's a lot. I really appreciate your time at the late hour.
My pleasure.
Hope you get some sleep. How many hours a night do you sleep?
Enough. So it depends.
Okay.
between 2 to 8. So it depends on what the day is and what it looks like the next day. I've always, for the last 3 years, I maintain a U.S. schedule because even as a service-based
Right.
client, I only work with people in the United States because they're just the easiest clients to please. So I didn't like working with anybody else from all over the world because they're a pain in the ass. So I didn't work with them. So
I've worked with a lot of firms overseas, and the time difference seems to be the hardest thing because a lot of them don't want to work on U.S. time.
For sure. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to get a it's just like in the U.S. I mean, you take a lawyer. You take a professional service person. You're not going to get a lawyer to work night shift. You know, you're not going to get an investment banker to work night shift. You're not going to get most computer engineers. You're not going to get them to work a night shift because they're professional services people. So it's the same thing over here. It's hard for them to work on a U.S. shift because that's nighttime for them, and the people that you're going to get that are working nighttime are the people who can't actually get the daytime jobs, which is what they actually want to work. So our staff all works during the day. Actually, our last guy just left about an hour ago, so some of them work well into the night. But I just always maintain U.S. time zones because I'm the one that's always interfacing with the U.S. clients and everything.
Sure. Well, I really appreciate it, John. Anything else you want to tell me before we go? And like I say, what I'll do is continue to study your software. I'll go ahead and set up the ClickFunnels Stripe account, get you that information, decide on the pricing structure, and then try to go to as many groups as I can on Fridays. But I travel a lot. I travel the U.S. a lot for my investment banking. I'm always traveling. So,
for sure. The only other thing I would tell you is to get your funnels. Before you set up your ClickFunnels account, all you need to do is come to the group, go to the units, and then in this getting started unit, go here where it says set up your funnels.
Uh-huh.
And then all you have to do is click this button, click this link right here, and it will download this Word doc. And then you can just click any of these links right here. You can click any of these links right here, and that will take you to a page where you can sign up for ClickFunnels, and then it will take that funnel, that sales page, and dump it right into your account automatically.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So if you only want to do one, like if you wanted to do a bundle of the $1 a day, if you wanted to do a bundle of the $1 a day, then you would just pick that funnel right there.
Oh, I see.
And then you could just use that, and that will dump that. Once you sign up for ClickFunnels, that will dump that right into your account, and then it will just cost you $19 a month, and you can have up to 3 different funnels. If you go past those 3 different funnels, it's the full $97 a month.
Okay. And you have training videos, if I remember right, and other things.
Correct. Right on here is a training video that will show you exactly how to get rolling with your funnels. And this just assumes that you have already downloaded this document, click one of these links and set up your account that way. As long as you do it that way, then you can just go back in and you can watch this video, and then that will show you from start to finish how to set everything up from the ClickFunnels side, from the Stripe side, and from the Zapier side for automation. You don't need to get a Zapier account. That's included in your membership. If you don't have access to it, just send me your email address and I'll make sure that you have access to it.
Which account is that?
Zapier, correct.
No, Zapier, okay. All right. I will do that. All right. Well, one nice thing about traveling is I can do a lot of this stuff in airports and airplanes. So
for sure,
that's pretty nice.
And if you have any questions at all, you can just post them in the group, or you can just message me on Facebook. I'm pretty responsive on Facebook because that's how I get all my clients. So literally, that's how I got every person in the partnership, and most of my software users. I just get them from Facebook and Facebook groups and stuff. So that's my form of marketing. So I'm pretty responsive on Facebook. So you can ask questions to me on Facebook, or you can just always post it in the group. If you post it in the group, then it can benefit other people as well. They can answer you, or I can answer you, and other people who might have had the same question, then they can get it answered.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm really glad I did the intake with you because yeah, you helped me out a lot to try to get a little more focused on it.
It was my pleasure. If you need any other help, just like I said, don't hesitate to message me, man.
All right. Thanks a million. Have a good night or good morning.
Glad to have you on board. Have a good one, man.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.